Hello and welcome, all friends and devotees of yoga and Buddhist meditation, and Buddhism generally. Um, Today is June the 17th, 2019. June the 17th, 2019. It's Monday today, and I'm going to continue my lecture series on the wisdom of Venerable Grandmaster Singyu. For those who are inquisitive, trying to find out, Master Singyung is one of the greatest Buddhist personalities of our time. When you're thinking of very great Buddhist personalities, the most distinguished Buddhas of today, I have four of them. 3 men, 1 woman. The most distinguished, the greatest Buddhas in the world today. They are Master Singyung. Master Singyung started the Fo Guangshan and brought Buddhism to Africa. Okay, done tremendous work, built huge temples and foundations and universities all over the world. That's Master Singyung. Then you also talk about the Dalai Lama. Everybody knows the Dalai Lama of Tibet. Okay, the whole was very famous. Dalai Lama had a Nobel Prize, and Dalai Lama is very famous. He got also the highest honor you can get in the United States, which is the gold medal, the presidential gold medal. He got the congressional gold medal in 2007 from President George Bush and the whole U.S. Congress. That is the highest honor you can get in America, the gold medal from the president. That was President George Bush, and the U.S. Congress, Congressional Gold Medal, was awarded to the Dalai Lama in 2007. And he got the Nobel Prize in 1989. So Dalai Lama is a very great Buddhist personality. He's made a lot of contribution, and he shows how to live your life in peace, peaceful living. I call him the most peaceful man in the world. Very peaceful. He doesn't, not a troublemaker. He doesn't push people, go and fight and kill yourselves. So everybody knows the story of Dalai Lama. He's a very wonderful, sweet Buddha, human being. Very distinguished, very scholarly. Both the Dalai Lama and Master Singyung have authored more than 100 books. The Dalai Lama has authored, he's still writing, in his 80s. Dalai Lama has authored well over 100 books in his lifetime. More than 100 books. Master Singyung the same. Master Singyung authored well over 100 books in his lifetime, and they have monks. These are giants of Buddhas. So they have monks, hundreds of monks under their authority, translating them to other language, like English language. Master Singyung doesn't speak English. Master Singyung speaks Chinese. And so all his hundreds of books were written in Chinese, but of course he's brilliant. He has professors at Yale University. I think the ones in Los Angeles, one of them even went to Yale, got a doctorate in Yale University. A woman, a nun, a Buddhist nun, got a PhD from Yale. Several of them. Master Singyung has very well-educated Buddhists. I think when I was Venerable Yi Chao, one of them, went to Yale University, got a PhD in Yale University. So Master Singyung has very highly educated monks and nuns. You're talking doctoral levels, Harvard, Yale, Oxford. He has them. Very highly educated scholars here who have studied his work very closely, and they translate them. All these translations are done by very highly educated Buddhist monks and nuns under the in Fo Guangshan Foundation, under the authority of Master Singyung. I gave you an example of one of them who got her PhD from Yale University, who was one of the nuns, head nuns in the Sea Light Temple, where I was in Los Angeles, California. I was there for 2 years. So Master Singyung has these highly educated, highly respected venerables, and they do a lot of these translations. So these are very reliable. Anything they tell you in English, that's it. You can imagine a PhD from Yale University. I think it's Venerable Yi Chao. One of those ladies. She's in charge of the International Translation Center there. Venerable, I think Yi Chao is certainly one of the ladies there, nuns. And I think she's the one that went to Yale University. I'm not very sure, but I know one of them has a doctorate from Yale University. There are several of them, and Master Singyun has thousands of monks and nuns. But I'm talking about Los Angeles, Silai Temple. And I know in Silai Temple there was one of the nuns who went to, who holds a doctorate from Yale University, definitely. I know there's one of those nuns there because I read it. I know there's one of them who was there. So Master Singyun is very highly achieved. He has monks and nuns, I mean in hundreds. You don't know who is who. Those folks, and I hope you understand what monks and nuns are. I gave you an example of what they do in the United States. They are very highly educated people. They go to school. They get PhDs from these kind of schools. I gave you an example of one of the nuns in Los Angeles, holds that doctorate from Yale. So that's what they do. They go all over. You talk about the University of California. They are there. They have doctor all of them. You can bring out dozens of them. So because they dedicate their lives to studying and enlightenment. And Master Singyun actually started a university in Los Angeles, California. I've been there. University of the West. It used to be Silai University. So they, when it comes to scholarship, studying, they are the limit. The Buddhas are the limit when it comes to studying. I mean, you don't study more than Buddhas. Because what else do they do? The others are busy fighting wars, right? And killing people, right? See, in life, you have to be determined. You have to know what you want to do in life, right? The energy you use in fighting and killing people is enough for you to study. Sit down and study and gain wisdom, right? And get doctorates, build schools, educate the young. The younger generation are looking up to the older people, right? Kids, there are people who are still 5-year-old today. 10 years old, 15, teenagers, high school. Okay, what are we going to do with these kids? We're giving bad examples, basically fighting wars and killing everybody. Why don't you just educate the kids? And, these guys, kids. So Buddhas and Buddhists devote their time to study, education, practice of kindness, meritorious deeds, helping the kids, showing good example to the children. Okay, that's what Master Singyun has done. All these PhDs, I'm telling you, from Yale University, Harvard, Oxford, that Master Singyun certainly has in his foundation, that's how they all come about, because they see the good example from Master Singyun. He's not organizing people out to go and bomb and kill people. Let's go and kill all those Koreans, or kill the Japanese, or kill some Chinese, kill some Africans. Master Singyun is thinking of how to enlighten, education. Africans need education. Put that school there. Get those monks there. Help them to educate. Put the school, University of the West. University of the West is arguably the most affordable university in the United States. It's arguably the most affordable. It's among the most affordable schools in the United States of America. And you know what that means, because tuition is very high. University of the West lowers it. Give a lot of scholarships to students who want to come and do graduate studies, undergraduate studies, you name it, they have it there. Okay? So this is the work. You have to have people who are compassionate, people who know where folks are and how to help them. Give people an education. Invest in education. Build schools for people. This is Master Singyun's ideas. And so his monks and his nuns, many of them are highly educated. And then schools are being built to help people in Africa, in China, in India, in Japan, all over the world. Master Singyun is trying to help the people educate. If you have educated human beings, you have a better world. Human beings who are enlightened, you have a better world. Why don't you enlighten the people? Okay, so that's the correct idea. That's what Fo Guangsheng does. Fo Guangsheng does this. They go around the whole place trying to educate the people. Okay, then there's a very kind woman who also goes to help people who are in very difficult situations. I talked about Master Singyun. I talked about the Dalai Lama, okay, the most peaceful man in the world. Everybody knows the Dalai Lama story and his achievements. I already mentioned them. Then the lady, Master Cheng Yang. It's very important to mention her. Master Cheng Yang started the Zuchi Foundation. She has a university, the Zuchi University in Taiwan. I was admitted there to come and study Chinese in 2006. I didn't have enough money to go there, but I received an admission then before I went to Canada. I went to Canada the next year, 2007, to study at the Confucius Institute of Quebec, Montreal. But in 2006, I gained admission also. I was really very interested in trying to pick up my Chinese. 2006, I gained admission in Zuchi University in Taiwan, but I didn't have the resources to go. So I remained in the US. Following year, I went to Canada and studied at the Confucius Institute in Quebec under Professor Chang Xiongfei and others in Montreal, Quebec, studying Chinese. So Master Cheng Yang is the woman, Buddha, who established the Zuchi Foundation. And what do? They call her the Mother Teresa of Asia. She's a very kind-hearted woman, very beautiful woman, kind-hearted in spirit, very kind-hearted Buddha. See, the Buddha himself, Gautama Siddhartha, has so many virtues that if I pick one aspect of his virtue, I can develop. Okay, so that's what all these great Buddhas have done. I named 4, and I'm talking about 4. Master Cheng Yen started the Zuchi Foundation. She has that university where I was admitted in 2006. I couldn't go. 2007, I went to Canada to do Chinese studies in Confucius Institute. She started the Zuchi University. Okay, it was the objective was not to teach Chinese. I mean, there are billions of people. Chinese is the biggest language in the world. I hope you know that. Mandarin Chinese is the biggest language in the world with speakers. It has nearly 1 billion speakers, 900, and then Spanish, I think, with about 380, and English. I've seen it on the internet. Just Google them. The largest languages, you'll see Mandarin Chinese there with nearly 1 billion speakers. But I know there are over 1 billion now. Then Spanish has about nearly 400 million speakers. And then English is like the third, and then French or so. There's a list. Just go on Google and Google the largest languages in the world by population, speakers, number of speakers. Mandarin Chinese is like 3 times the number 2, which is like Spanish, and then English, and then others come. These are the most spoken world languages. So Chinese is over 1 billion, right? Now, Master Cheng Yen did not establish Zuchi University for Chinese studies. I got that admission. I wanted to do Chinese studies. I wanted to learn Chinese at university, get a degree in it. So that was my objective. Master Cheng Yen is a very compassionate woman. She had another passion. Okay, she established Zuchi University. It was like a medical college. She really assembled a lot of doctors. She wanted to ease suffering. Her own idea. She's very like saint, like Mother Teresa. That's why they call her the Mother Teresa of Asia. She has this Mother Teresa-like feeling. She has compassion on people who are injured, people who are suffering, people who are wounded. That's Master Cheng Yen. Very sweet mother. She's a compassionate. They call her the Mother Teresa of Asia. She was nominated for Nobel Peace Prize so many times. She's a fantastically good woman. She started that foundation everywhere. The Japanese earthquake, she was there. The Nepal earthquake, the Hurricane Katrina, all hurricanes, earthquakes. Zuchi Foundation is always there trying to help everybody. You know, helping the homeless who are displaced by hurricanes, destroyed homes, earthquakes and hurricanes, and all these natural disasters. Everywhere she is there. She goes to all these countries. Her foundation, okay. So she is just a fantastic. You can see the aspects of Buddha. You can't do all these, right? One person can. So it's like a university. Buddha is so great in his virtues that the different aspects have been picked up by different greats of our time. So Master Xingyun is there doing one aspect. The Dalai Lama is there doing another. Master Cheng Yen is there doing another. And then Australia has this giant. He lives in Hong Kong sometimes, and he established in Australia. Amitabha, Master Ching Kong. Fantastic, and that's another giant. Master Ching, he was in the United States for a while. He had the Golden Key, one of these states, and then he moved over to Australia and really did a great work there. Master Ching Kong, he has done a lot of work in the Amitabha recitation, teaching of. He is very great. UNESCO, like you just call him the UNESCO Buddhist. He had huge grant from UNESCO to do a lot of work in Buddhism, and of course he has the Queens. The Queens is one of the Queens. What would they call it? Order of the Queen of something in Australia. It has one of the highest honors anybody in Australia can get. Order of the Queen. It's like knighted by Queen Elizabeth. So that's Master Ching Kong. He's a very great Australian. The Order of Merit of the Queen, something like that. He has the highest authority in Australia. Just find it. He has that honor from Queen Elizabeth. Okay, he lives in Australia and once in a while in Hong Kong. Master Ching Kong is a year older than Master Xingyun. I think Master Ching Kong was born 1926. Master Xingyun 1927. They are in their 90s. They are really elderly. Okay, and then Master Cheng Yen is a little younger. Master Cheng Yen and Dalai Lama are about age mates. They are in their 80s. Master Ching Kong and Master Xingyun are in their 90s. Okay, so this is just to give you a rough idea of Buddhas. I believe these are just Buddhas who are living in our time. Master Xingyun, the Dalai Lama, Master Cheng Yen, who is a lady. showing you how Buddha believes, man or woman, there's no discrimination. Anybody who is enlightened is a Buddha. These are the greatest in our time, and Master Ching Kong. These are the four greats, okay, in my own teachings. Okay, so I'm going to go through this quickly, having given you a very broad, foundation on the wisdom, that I've studied for decades, for about 2 decades or more of my life, nearly 25 years. I've been studying Buddhism. Okay, so here Master Sing Yung writes, when our clothes are torn, we need to mend them. When our house leaks, we have to repair it. And when our body and mind are sick, we also need to cure them. How do we heal our body and mind? We must cultivate and maintain their well-being at ordinary times. The following are keys to cultivating the body and mind. Again, the golden keys. Okay. Watch over our body like jade. People all like things that are clean. People all like things that are clean. For instance, clean clothes are comfortable to put on. Fresh food is healthy to eat. And a hygienic environment is pleasant to live in. Similarly, by safeguarding our body like jade, we gain the respect and company of others. If we want our body to be pristine, like a piece of fine jade with no blemishes, we have to cultivate it by not killing, not stealing, and not engaging in sexual misconduct. Okay, these are again the teachings of. That's the first key. The second golden key: keep our mouth tight, like a sealed bottle. Write, just have your pen and paper again. Wisely, do things wisely. Okay, jot down points. Note the key points so that I can reflect and meditate later on, and cultivate wisdom. And live life wisely. Use your time wisely. Time of life. Okay. So the second golden key: keep our mouth tight, like a sealed bottle. Sickness comes in through the mouth. Trouble comes out of it. Our mouth creates much trouble for us because we like to talk. Many disasters are the result of inappropriate speech. Therefore, we should not say anything improper, because what we say needs to be acceptable and beneficial to others. Otherwise, our words will only bring many undesirable consequences. 3. The third golden key from the Great Master: just keep writing so that you can pick points and then reflect on them later and meditate upon them. These are my teachings. The third golden key the Grand Master is giving us right now for our reflection and contemplation, and to improve our values and our lives: guard our mind like thieves. Ming scholar Wang Yangming asserted, it is easy to capture the bandit in the mountain, but difficult to catch the thief in the mind. The Buddhist scriptures compare our body to a village with 6 thieves within: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. With mind being the leader, it leads our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body in committing unwholesome deeds and disrupting our life so that we can never find peace. Therefore, if we want to live in peace and harmony, we must guard against this bandit called the mind, and not allow it to offend anyone or create disorder. The final golden key. Okay, the fourth golden key. Have your pen and paper. I hope you're writing, living wisely, using time wisely. Eradicate evil like an enemy. Eradicate evil like an enemy. The Buddhist scriptures state that body, speech, and mind are the masterminds behind our every deed. They can lead us to practice benevolence or commit unwholesome deeds. It often happens that whether a deed is kind or evil is determined by a single thought. In eradicating the unwholesome deeds from our body, speech, in eradicating the unwholesome deeds from our body, speech, and mind, we need a sharp sword of wisdom. That's what I've been saying, right? We need wisdom. Master Singyung says, he advises, we need a sharp sword of wisdom. Thus, we must view sins as bandits and foes in order to stamp them out. We must view sins as bandits and foes in order to get rid of them, stamp them out. Okay? If you've written, you should have had something concrete by now. Okay? Now the summary is very short. Master Singyung gives us a summary as he always does. We must pay attention. We must pay attention to the above admonitions in cultivating our body and mind. So you go back to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Particularly the first statement. The first statement should tell you everything that has been analyzed. Go back to the first statement of the golden keys, the very first statement of the golden keys, and pick the points for yourself, reflect and meditate on wisdom. Namo Amitofo.